KCC311, second video for the week, number 8 assignment. We're talking about an area graph. In other words, if we have quantitative data, last video we talked about mean, median, mode, standard deviation. What is an easier way to see it? These numbers help me see it. It helps me see, okay, the average ride is about 13 minutes. The mode, the most frequent ride is 7 minutes. It helps me see, but it doesn't help me the degree that I'm looking for. I think the best way is going to be a graph. In order to see all the different trip durations, some people short, some people long rides, I need a graph. Now, how are we going to do that? If you go to your course documents here, the bell curve is where your assignment lives, and here's the last view. You'll see that there's a link here to Google Sheets. And if you click that link in Google Sheets, you get a little template looking like this. Now, this is an area graph template. And if you click one of the boxes near the frequency, you'll see it's a crazy formula. That's why I'm giving you the template as opposed to walking you through the process of creating that formula. I don't think we need to deal with that. But what is important to know is when you have this template, the yellow parts, that's where you need to put in the numbers. The first place we have to put in the numbers is quantitative data. So what am I dealing with? I'm dealing with these taxi rides. In particular, I'm dealing with the trip duration. So I click column C, it gets all the quantitative data, and on my keyboard, you can't see it, but on my keyboard, Control C. And when I do that, you can see the little dotted line around it. That means I've copied the data. It's in my computer's brain. So then I can come back to this area template, and I can click the top here, and I do Control V on my keyboard. That's paste. It takes a second because there's 5,000 numbers, a lot of numbers, but then ta-da, the numbers pop in. Okay, so what have I done? I've taken from my taxi data, you're using Divi data on the assignment, I've copied the quantitative data, and I've put it in my template. Good, that's a good first step. Second step, I need to tell the graph how to group the data. In other words, this is taxi data, and we know that the average ride was about 13 minutes. So maybe the smallest taxi ride might be 0 minutes, like somebody gets in and gets out really quickly. Let's go 120. In other words, I'm saying, hey, that's by 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. So what would the next one be? 240. The next one would be 360. I'm doing 120 in my brain. Obviously, you can take out a calculator and find an easier way. 480 is next. Plus another 120 is 600. You get the idea. And you might even say, wait a minute, I thought you said that the Excel would do the pattern for us. Absolutely. Once you start the pattern, highlight it, and then the little column, the box in the corner, pull it down. And you see it creates the same pattern on down the line, and then my formula tells me how many people take a taxi ride. So 600, that's a 10-minute taxi ride, and there's 516 people. 1440, at that point, I think that's about I've got to do the math in my head. That's 24-minute taxi ride. Only 108 people took that many rides. And then down here, you're talking about, shoot, that's like 45 minutes. There's some people, a couple dozen, but you get the idea that what I was able to do is take all the taxi data. I broke them up every 2 minutes. Why 2 minutes? I picked that. You could pick 100, 200, 300. You could pick 500 and so on. And then it tells me how many people are in each group. All right, so this is a solid way to take quantitative data, copy it, paste it into that template, and then you tell me the groups, and it tells me how many people are in each group. Okay, last part. Once you've done that process, and you got to go between two different spreadsheets, so I understand it's going to become a little bit complex. You got to put in the graphs, so the groups. So there's some places where you can have mistakes, and you obviously reach out if you hitting a roadblock. But we're not quite ready for the final step or the final graphic. We need to highlight this data, the groups and the frequency. You see, I highlight everything, highlight it in blue, insert chart. Now, what's Excel going to do? It's going to make this graph right here, the frequency graph, and it is going to label the frequency, how many people, the groups down here. This is really nice. Over here on the side, however, I can customize because groups, that's not too descriptive. What particularly am I talking about? I'm talking about taxi rides. So I could go over here to, you have all these different things. Axis titles, I like that one. So you have down here, chart title, but I want the horizontal axis title. And it says groups, but groups is not that descriptive. What if I said taxi ride length? And then I can parenthesis, I could say seconds, because I'm highlighting what my measurement is. And if I can do that, then that tells me a little more description about what I'm measuring. So what am I doing here to make an area graph? You need to take the quantitative data, paste it into this template. You need to tell me the groups. I did it every 2 minutes. You can do it on your own, highlight these things, and then you're going to insert. You get a graph, and of course you can customize it as you need. And also, by the way, down here, I could have a blank graph. You can also get one that's filled in. It's the same idea. Change the name back. Well, you can change that again. You understand the process. Quantitative data, paste it in the template, tell me some groups, and then create and label a graph, and you're going to be in good shape here for the week number 8 graphic. You can save this. Whoa, I just hit delete. That's not what I wanted to do. There, you can save that, and then you can save that and upload that to your week number 8 graphic. If you have questions about this process, please reach out, and I can address your questions on email.